Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to be talking about how to hold B on... Wait, this doesn't look right. Okay, this looks much better. We're going to be going over B on cash. Now, this isn't the most complicated spot in the world. However, there's a lot of mistakes that people make that basically allow me to easily take B when I'm on T side, and it's one of the reasons I have a video going over how I take B on T side, even though it's fairly easy to isolate a rifler solo working B if you play effectively from checkers a couple of times, or if you double up B a couple of times in a whole half. It's actually fairly easy to deal with if you do it well. It's just so few people do it well that I can do this in most games where I just simply, pop flash around the corner and then work a pick B, and it actually works out more often than not. So the first thing people do, and one of the main reasons this T-side push is so effective, is they sit static at headshot. This is the worst thing you can do at B, in my opinion, because any decent player will come around this corner, pre-aiming you, and insta headshot. No matter if you're on this side or this side, if you're static, that is a fairly easy shot for most people. So what you can be doing is either moving left and right, or crouching, wait, and uncrouch. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, couldn't they just jump into checkers and put me in a really bad spot? Well, technically, yes. However, if you're timing it right, you're not going to give them enough time to do that, because when you come past headshot, there are 3 angles you need to be clearing. Well, actually kind of 4. This angle here, this angle here. They can be on that box as well, which I would recommend. The cornerback here and vents. So they can't just go, okay, nobody's headshot and jump into checkers. And if they do, you can easily punish that the next round just by playing towards sight. They need to clear these angles out. And when they do so, you have the time to be able to unpeak if you're timing it well and get the free kill. So generally, this is the way I would play it. Next thing up is these off angles in sight on B on cash here are extremely effective, because generally a terrorist team is only going to have room for one player to be working it at a time. You can't really have 2 players close to each other here working it together, or they're going to bump into each other. They can get shot from a lot of different angles at once. So you'll have the free reign to just grab that first entry, drop down, and then quickly rotate over to a different spot without really even a decent or decently coordinated team having the chance to actually trade on you. So a spot like here is quite good. I wouldn't recommend here because it gets peaked quite often. That's why I play up on this box. You can also play back here, which is a little bit more risky of an angle because, you could have 2 people just pop flash in and bust in. However, you can figure this out in the game you're in. Some teams won't be doing that bust in, and most teams will probably be just working a pick either into checkers or through B main, and so you can try and catch them. You can catch them here, or you can catch them over here. And I've even seen in a pro game, I believe, I want to say Existence, but I'm really not sure, has played up here. However, I think this is a little bit more risky of an angle because you can't rotate off easily. Here you can grab a kill, and even a large portion of your body is, obscured by the box, drop down, and then it just takes one flash or maybe some quick movement to get out of the box and into a safe place. Now, as for the rest, this is the part that gets misused the most. Teams almost never play in checkers if they don't do it all the time. This is the type of thing you want to switch up fairly often. Now, one of the ways you can do it is you can actually try and boost vents. So you can break vents through here, or with the pistol, you can actually break it through only through the tarp. You can't shoot through the metal. And you can try and boost through vents. And to do that, what I would do is I would play kind of a standard setup for the first few seconds, or for the first little bit. Maybe playing kind of like here with the smoke up. And by the way, how you want to throw that smoke is to come over here and just bounce it off the wall. You can get this pretty much fully down with a tiny bit of practice. It really doesn't take very much. You can play kind of here and checkers, try and isolate someone if they go very aggressive, and then you can quickly boost up in events, and then this player can easily support another player being in checkers. So this is one of the ways you can play checkers without being super isolated. If you don't have a player in vents, what ends up happening a lot of the time is if you're playing in checkers, you get, like I said, fairly isolated. You'll get a chance to get one kill, but then you can't rotate out back this way. They can pretty easily flash in. You're kind of forced to peek out, and if you don't have anybody vents, again, you don't really have any way of staying alive. However, if you have a player in vents that can support you, you can kind of come back here, force them to come in, and then have a kind of almost crossfire on it. So that might be one way you can play vents, or sorry, checkers. And you can also throw flashes out here if you really want to get aggressive. And one of the other nice things about playing checkers or boosting vents is after doing that, you can actually come up here with the smoke still down, and you can jump up and see directly over it, which is one of the few ways that you can actually get aggressive at B, because generally coming through here is a bit of a death trap. There's a lot of angles they can be at. Teams often opt T-spawn for way past when they should be opting T-spawn. At least in matchmaking, I've seen this so many times where I've just pushed out and it's been like, why are you holding B with an op 30 seconds into the round? So that's one of the reasons I've never been comfortable with this. Teams just weirdly hold this angle with an op way too often. But even as you come past here, teams will have a rifler set up on the left side, on the right side, and these are pretty advantageous angles for terrorists to hold. An opper here can win the angle every time, and you're not really put in a great position. So I wouldn't really recommend playing B aggressively, and that's one of the reasons I don't like playing B on this map at all. I feel like I can't get aggressive, and I really like to get aggressive, especially in matchmaking and in pugs. So if you're looking to carry your team as well as possible, I would actually recommend not playing B. However, if you prefer to play B for whatever reason, or you're really good at B, or you want to learn it, hopefully this video gave you some ideas as to how you can actually do that. Now, the next thing I'll show you quickly is a pretty cool pop flash you can actually use to pop flash B main. You just come into this corner here, aim in the middle right there, and it'll drop down. Now you can move it to the left or to the right to try and drop it down in certain other areas, but this is actually a very effective way, especially on pistol rounds, or ecos, sorry, to play in a spot like snack spot here is what I call it, and get a flash and then peek out and trying to grab a kill. Now, the final thing I'll mention is pistol rounds, and one of the ways I like to play this is actually to have a pistol in here with armor and the player in sight with a couple of flashes, and that player will spot, and this player will throw a flash right there for him to re-peek. So he can peek out, spot them, wait, that flash comes out, and you peek out again. And with that flash, you can actually peek out either this doorway, or you can come over here, depending if the terrorists are rushing, or if they're just kind of working an angle or trying to clear out the spot. So it actually gives you quite a bit of playability. And the other thing this guy can do is you can actually drop him a 5-7, or your player in sight can drop you a 5-7 if you want, and throw that flash and come out here, just for if the terrorists are doing a rush, which is, you know, somewhat often they'll be doing a straight rush in a B, and this 5-7 with the flash on the corner there will absolutely destroy them. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.